What's up everybody, this is Boywithafishtank, and today I'm bringing you a video on my Reef tank, and I wanted to actually cover a specific topic, which is if Aiptasia actually are beneficial to your system. Now I'll be making further on with this topic after we look at a new thing I'm going to implement in every saltwater episode, and it's water changes. I'm going to show you guys some different samples of water tests that I've done through a little bit of time. So if we look here, for some time ago, you can see here, this is quite pink. Now when you do a nitrate test, the more pink it is, or at least with the nitrate sulfur test that I use, the more pink the water is, the more nitrates in the water. You can see there was quite a lot of nitrates in the water right here. Of course, this has been standing like this for almost a week now, so the color of the water change has changed because it has stood for such a long time, and also because it's stuck in a glass like this, so that there's less surface for the water, which allows the color to look a lot more strong. But we have definitely some signs of quite a lot of nitrates. This was for some weeks ago, and let's just look at the test that we're going to do today. I actually already prepared a glass and a syringe for this, so let's just see here. Now you can already see now that it has actually changed quite a bit. Now what is really important to understand is that you want to look for the small little details, which is basically you want to compare them to each other so that you're 100% sure that it's actually better than the recent water test. So let's just look at these two guys. You can see on the right is the test that we have done now. You can see a slight difference in it. It's not very much, but you can see in my tank nitrates are pretty high. So that's kind of crazy, right? But if you look at my tank, you know, I got a lot of corals that are actually thriving in dirty waters, so they better do like a little bit of nitrates in the water. And nitrate is not the worst thing you can get. It's more phosphates that you want to get out of, and I don't really have a lot of phosphates, but nitrates are a problem in my tank. But you can see all the corals and fish are thriving. The only thing is that it's still, you know, these testers are still like, if it even was as purple as as coralline algae right here, that would be you still have to think that it's not going to be like crazy much amounts that it's like it says on the reading paper thingy, because it actually says that you have to divide the amount by 10, so that, for example, if you have let's say 25 in the sort of you know, the paper thingy right there, you know, you have to divide it by 10, so that would be 2.4 parts per million. You have to remember that you should not think that it's 25 parts per million. That is crazy. But anyways, so let's get to the topic, guys. So Aiptasia, you guys know I have Aiptasia everywhere in my tank, and sometimes they can be really annoying, because what a lot of people don't like them for is because they are small sea anemones. Let me just find some for you guys. It's pretty easy to find some in my tank. You can see they're pretty much everywhere. It's these little small brown anemones. What Aiptasia is basically known for is being one of those anemones, those pesky hitchhikers that will basically just you know, kill your coral and sting them to death, basically. And that is true. Aiptasia will actually, some big Aiptasia will actually kill coral. Now, of course, you have to think about some few things before you say this, because you know, Aiptasia can get quite big. They can get to about this size right here, like this size. When it gets to that size, that is the size where they actually can kill coral. When they're smaller than that, usually a medium-sized Aiptasia, they can only really irritate the coral. Some sensitive SPS corals might not like it at all, so if you have a SPS tank, I would not even recommend trying to keep Aiptasia in your tank. You should just get rid of them immediately. But if you don't have SPS in your tank and you have LPS and softies, you know, that they actually don't really mind the Aiptasia as much. Like my Cladelia has been, I've just moved the Cladelia, that's why I see it's a little bit closed up. I try to make it a little bit more pointing upward. so it just needs to get used to some of the things right there. But this Cladelia coral has, for its whole lifetime in my tank, it has been stung by various different Aiptasia that sits under its foot. This senior has been stung by a lot of Aiptasia. Nothing happens. A lot of these Kenya trees are having a problem with Aiptasia around their area. You can see here around its foot, they're kind of having a war against the Aiptasia, so they try to try to win over them in that area, basically. So but what will happen is that, they'll shadow over this area, and Aiptasia are still photosynthetic animals, so they will not be able to grow as much around this area because of the big Kenya trees that actually makes a little bit of shade down there. But the reason I say that Aiptasia is actually beneficial to your system, look at the sea urchin, by the way, he's awesome. But the reason I say that it might be beneficial is because they actually do eat some of the leftover food in your tank. They sit on the rocks, they sit on the sand, they sit everywhere, sometimes on the glass even. When this happens, they eat a lot of the pellets that go on the bottom that you might not know that are there. They'll eat pretty much any food that is floating around the water, so they will kind of help cleaning up your tank, but they won't eat this as much amounts. Now, what I do recommend though is getting Aiptasia eggs, or something that can kind of control the Aiptasia, which can be a live animal. It can be a copper band butterfly fish, it can be peppermint shrimp, it can be many different things, or Bergia nudibranchs. But you have to remember that you can actually keep Aiptasia without it being too much of a problem. The problem a lot of people think is that when small little Aiptasia are in your tank, they're going to kill every single coral that is near them. But that's not the case, guys. They will irritate the coral, they won't kill it, because their sting is not as strong yet when they are in a younger stage of their life. So they won't really be able to do a lot of harm to your corals, especially not if you have soft corals. Soft corals kind of get used to it, they don't really mind. So that's a little tip I can give you guys. But the thing about Aiptasia is a lot of people take them as completely useless, but everything in a reef has a purpose. That is a thing you have to understand. Every single thing that is native to a reef has some sort of purpose. My clownfish are dancing right there, I don't know what they're doing. You can see my male is flashing for the female, but anyway, what you have to think about is that they actually are beneficial, and any animal in the reef is beneficial. And the reason they're beneficial is because the small Aiptasia will eat some leftover food. Now, you don't need to overfeed your tank because of this, because if you overfeed your tank, your Aiptasia are going to grow very large. But what I can say is that if there's any Aiptasia that gets close to your sensitive corals, or if you have any big Aiptasia that are getting close to all of your corals that might actually be able to kill them, you have to eradicate them with Aiptasia eggs or something like that. That will be no problem. But what I'm saying is that you can actually have a lot of Aiptasia sitting around in your tank without it doing a problem and actually only doing good. That's a little tip I can give you guys. I just wanted to make this video to kind of explain to you guys why a lot of people are wrong in that sort of state, because you have to remember every single thing in a reef has a purpose. That's very important to understand. Everything relies on each other. So that is basically this video, guys. I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, see you guys in another video.